In this sponsored tutorial, I'm going to show you how to install WordPress on a VPS or a virtual private server. This is a server where you get dedicated resources. It's a private server where all the resources are yours. It's not shared hosting. It is a private server that's all yours. And we're checking out a platform called SkySilk today, and it is super affordable. You won't believe how inexpensive it is. The plans start at $1 per month to get a virtual private server. In this tutorial, we're going to install WordPress on the virtual private server, and then we're going to build a landing page using Divi and landing page best practices so you can start generating some traffic to that landing page and get some leads for your business. And we're getting started right now. The virtual private server company we're checking out today is called SkySilk. There's a lot of cool stuff about it. One of the coolest things is SkyPoints. On the homepage, if we go down to the very bottom, we have SkyPoints. These SkyPoints are awarded for every one of their hosting accounts. Even the lowest plan, which we'll look at in just a minute, it's very affordable. And you get SkyPoints for having those plans for every transaction you make. So every time you renew, which is every month usually, you are awarded SkyPoints. You can trade those SkyPoints in for gift cards. I've never seen any other host offer that. So just by being a client of the host, you can collect points and get gift cards, which is pretty awesome. And we're going to look at pricing before we do anything else. And then we're going to look at comparison between other VPS providers. So if we go to the pricing page, we can choose between standard setups and premium setups. The difference between the two is the number of resources your site and your server will have. Premium is faster. And the faster you want to go, the more you got to pay. That's just how it works. And with the standard plan that we're going to build a site on today, you get free manual backups, free manual snapshots, scheduled backups, scheduled snapshots, DDoS protection. DDoS stands for Distributed Denial of Service, which is when somebody has control of a bot network and they send tons and tons of traffic to your site to try to take it down. So you have up to 3 gigabytes per second, which is a whole lot of traffic, to help fight off DDoS attacks. Up to 500 megabytes per second of bandwidth. This is not for the base standard plan, but you can keep upgrading to this level. Up to 10 terabytes, solid state drives, super fast network, super fast RAM. This is the Intel chip that you'll be on the standard plan. On the premium plans, you just have upgraded levels of everything. So you have unlimited bandwidth, unlimited transfer, an NVMe solid state drive instead of a regular solid state drive, faster chip choices, faster network, faster RAM. Everything's just faster on the premium. If you go to choose plan for the standard, and we scroll down, we're going to do some work up at the top a little bit later. But if we scroll down to the pricing, for $2 a month, it's on sale right now to the end of January. And they also have a $1 a month plan, which we don't see in this video because they're currently sold out. But when you come here later on, you might see the $1 a month plan. But we're going to go with the $2 because that's what we have here. So for $2 a month, you get a virtual CPU all to yourself. You get 512 megabytes of RAM, 10 gigabytes solid state drive, 500 gigabytes of transfer. And you might think, okay, what does that really mean? How does that compare to a regular host? If we go to SiteGround, and we click on their cloud hosting, which is the most equivalent option they have to a VPS. So for SiteGround's entry-level virtual private server or dedicated server, you get 2 CPUs, 4 gigabytes of RAM, 40 gigs hard drive space, 5 terabytes transfer. Now the equivalent one on SkySilk, because we only get 1 CPU for the base level, we have a 2 CPU right here, 8 gigs of RAM, so double the RAM, same number of CPU, double the RAM, 2.5 times the hard drive space. They don't show transfer rate on the SiteGround. 3 terabytes to transfer instead of 5. But this plan is regular $20 versus $80 on SiteGround. SiteGround's a great host. SkySilk's a great host. It comes down to how much you're paying. The one thing to consider is I haven't actually used the VPS for SiteGround, the cloud hosting. So I don't know if you can put multiple sites on it, but over on SkySilk, these prices are per website or per deployment. You can deploy all kinds of software on here. It doesn't have to be a website, but it's per deployment. You're paying this amount, the $20 a month. So over here, you might be able to fit 4 websites for 80. And then over here, you have to buy this 4 times for 4 websites, so it ends up being the same price. But the hardware stats are still a little bit better on SkySilk. And you can get started, like I said, for $2. If you only have 1 website, I mean, this is the place to host it. If we check out, for you guys who are into VPS servers, there are a bunch of providers that provide VPS servers. And this is some of the major ones here. AWS, which is Amazon, DigitalOcean, Vultr, and Linode. And if you compare the stats to the price, SkySilk on the large VPS, which is one of their options, they have as much as or more CPU, they have more RAM and more hard drive space than all of the others, and they're way cheaper. You can see the prices right down here, and they're way cheaper. So now that we've covered that they're affordable, let's actually get into building something with it. Go back to the pricing page. I'm going to pick the standard plan. I'm going to close this discount here so we see some more stuff. You can install a clean OS. So if you're a developer, you can install any one of these as a clean OS. Also, if you're a developer, there's a lot of options on here you can install under the apps. We're going to install WordPress, but you can install, as you can see, a lot of different stuff very easily. So I'm going to click on WordPress. Takes us down to here. We only have one choice of processor. For the premium plans, you have two. You can have an Intel chip or an AMD chip. As of this recording, they only have a Los Angeles data center, but SkySilk has confirmed that they have a New York data center that'll be online soon. It might even be online as you're watching this, so make sure you check on that and choose the one that's closest to your main traffic source, because that will help your website load faster for the majority of your visitors. I'm going to choose the base plan right here, the Pico, and our price comes to $162 per month, which is very affordable. So we got to give our VPS a name. I'm going to call mine WP Learning Lab. I'm going to create a password. I'm going to use my LastPass password generator here. Copy that password, paste it in there. It wants a special symbol, so I'm going to add that in. There's our password. Our DNS name, that's for reverse DNS. We don't really need that, it's optional, so don't worry about that. Here's where you turn backups on or off. This is the scheduled, and it turns out there is a small upcharge for the scheduled. So in this case, it's 16 cents per month to use the scheduled backups. Manual backups are included in the price. Snapshots, also 16 cents a month. So if you turn these on, it updates the pricing here. Still quite reasonable for the peace of mind that backups give you. So you turn those either on or off, then you click on deploy. Enter your name and email. You'll get an email from them and you'll check out. And the email you're going to get after you check out looks like this one. Just going to drag and drop it over. And what you have to do is you click on this link to verify your email address. You get 500 SkyPoints just for signing up, and SkyPoints are again the rewards. I'll show you a little bit more about that later. And then once you log in, it's going to log into my account. And when you log in after you deploy, you might see a screen like this where it shows creating VPS. This is if you log in like immediately after you create your account. If you wait a while, for whatever reason, you buy it and then you go have lunch and you come back, you might not see this progress bar because it'll be created by then. But mine is just still creating as I signed in right now and created one. And then once this VPS is finished being created, we will configure WordPress on it. Before we set that up, a couple cool things I want to show you. You can easily upgrade your server by clicking on configure. You can choose a different hardware setup. If you use boost, it just boosts it for 24 hours and you can increase your server resources for just 24 hours. In this case, quadruple our RAM for only 25 cents. This makes sense if you're expecting a large influx of traffic. Maybe you're doing some kind of promotion or some kind of something that's generating more traffic for your website, but you need more resources to support that traffic. And you don't want to commit to a higher monthly package just for 1 day or 2 or 3 days of higher traffic. So you can just use Boost, which is a temporary boost for very inexpensive to help you handle the traffic. And down here we have this panel where we see a bunch of data about our site. And you might be wondering, where's the cPanel? If you've been using cPanel hosts, this replaces it. There is no cPanel here. This is a VPS server, so it's different. And we see our usage stats here. We see our usage graphs here. Activity, what's happened on the account. Our backups, I currently have the scheduled backups enabled, but you can create a manual one but just by clicking on backup now. Snapshots, I also have the scheduled ones. You can click on add snapshot to create a manual one. SSH is a secure socket layer login you can use on Windows using PuTTY or a similar program, on Mac using Terminal or a similar program, and it allows you to log into your site more securely. So you can set that up if you want. Here's your DNS settings, and we can delete. And this just deletes this particular setup. It doesn't delete your entire account. Just this WP Learning Lab setup will be deleted. If you've been around websites for a little while, you probably know if you go to the IP address of your hosting account, it loads your website. So if we go to this IP, it would normally load our website here, but it says we have not initialized the system yet. So we have to go ahead and do that, which we're going to do right now. Go back into our account, click on SSH console, which opens a web-based SSH, very similar to PuTTY on Windows, Terminal on Mac, same kind of instructions and commands. For the username, we're going to type in root, and then for the password, we have to type in our password. Copying and pasting doesn't work in here, so we have to type it in. And if you have a complicated one like I do, it can be a bit of a pain. But as you're typing, you'll notice there are no bullets, there are no asterisks. It's just a blinking dot. Doesn't mean you're doing it wrong, just means you're hiding how many characters the password has. So once you type it in, hit enter, and now we're logged in to the server. Now in the first window, we're going to create a MySQL password. It has to be at least 8 characters long, has to have at least 3 of uppercase, lowercase numbers, and symbols. So in other words, it's got to be a complex password. And after we type it in here, we're going to have to confirm it on the next screen. So make sure that you type one in that you remember and write it down. Maybe even type it out somewhere else first, because you can't see, like it's asterisks is like this, so you can't see what the password is. You can't copy and paste. So I'm going to type in my password. I don't want to quit. I'm too used to keyboard shortcuts. I almost quit the SSH. So my password is going to be this. Hopefully that's good enough. Click on OK. Then we confirm the password. Hopefully I got it correct 2 times in a row, and I did. So now we want a password for the WordPress admin account. Same requirements, create the password here, make it different than your MySQL password, make it different than your SkySilk login, make it different than your VPS password. So this is the 4th password we're creating now, but make sure they're all different for security reasons. Okay, there, and then we confirm it. And now an email for the WordPress admin. I'm going to type in my usual, click on enter, hit enter. The Turnkey Hub is something that is used to back up and restore servers and helps with domain management. There is a small price associated with it. You can go to turnkeylinux.org to see the prices and see what it's all about. It's a great service to have, and it's definitely something you should add to your VPS. We're not going to do that right now for the sake of time, so we're just going to skip this step by clicking on skip. Now it's asking where to forward system alerts and system notifications, and I'm just going to set it as my regular email address, which was autofilled. Click on enable. Is your email correct? Double check your email. Yes, it is. Security updates. By default, the system is configured to automatically install security updates on a daily basis. Here's a link for more information about that. For maximum protection, we also recommend installing the latest security patches right now. This can take a few minutes. You need to be online. Okay, I'm online. I'm going to click on install and let that run. And these are all the security patches that are for the server itself. All of these security updates have been made. We want to make note of all these addresses. Just keep them somewhere safe. You can't copy and paste them. You have to type them out. I'm going to quickly type mine out so I have them somewhere safe, and you should do the same at this point. I'm just going to put them into a Word document and just save it on my hard drive. And when you're done with that, you can type Q or click on quit. And now we have terminated our SSH connection. So we can close out of here. Now if we go back to our site here, on this IP that didn't load anything besides this the first time, and it should go to our website. And here it is. Plain simple, 2016 or 2017 theme. To log in, we just go /WP admin. And this works just like any regular WordPress website, except for you have an IP here right now, which you can change to a domain name later. So I'm just going to log in with the username of admin and the password we created during the installation process. And the very first thing we're going to do is go to users and make a new user, because we never want to have an admin user with the username of admin. So we want to have a new user that is something else, anything else besides admin. It makes sense to have mine be Bjorn, which is not better, but it's still better. Anybody who watches my videos, they know my name, so they know that's probably my username for a lot of websites, but still it's better than admin, because then a bunch of randoms don't know the username, like all the hackers. So I'm going to put in email address as usual. All the other fields are optional. I'm just going to copy my password, and there we go. Click on the drop down, make them administrator. Click on add new user. Email address is already registered. Of course it is. Change it to a different one. Launchtimemedia.com. Add new user. Now I'm going to log out and log back in as my new account, because you can't delete the account that you're currently in, which makes sense. Let's log in with our new user account, then go back to users. And now that we're signed into the other account, we can delete the admin user just for security reasons, attribute content to the new user or a different one if you have more. Click on confirm deletion. Now that admin user is gone, and your website is just that much more secure for not having an admin user. And now we have a website installed on a virtual private server, which is fast, it is affordable, and we're going to build a cool landing page on here now, which you can use to send tons of traffic to and not worry about your site crashing from all the bandwidth being used. And to do that, we're going to use the Divi Builder, and we're going to build a landing page according to current landing page best practices, which is important stuff to know, so make sure you stick around. And before we get to that, I'll just do something for fun, and that is go to GT Metrics and see how fast this site loads. Let's copy our IP address. This will load the home page. Click on Analyze. So an unoptimized 2017 theme loads at 0.6 seconds, which is pretty good. And there's still a bunch of things, not a bunch actually, just a handful of things we could improve. But either way, that's a pretty good start without even trying to do page speed work yet. There's not much there yet. So once we have the site built with Divi Page Builder, we'll see how fast it loads, because all page builders, including Divi, load a lot of resources into their pages. So let's close this off. So now we're going to install the Divi Builder from Elegant Themes. You get it from this website. It's a very popular builder. It's on level with Elementor. They are competing head to head right now. They're both coming out with great new features that are quite unique to each platform, and both of them have a lot of users. If you want to get the Divi Builder after this tutorial, there's an affiliate link in the description down below. Buying through that link doesn't cost you any more, but it helps me keep the lights on, helps me keep making these videos. So if you buy through that, I really appreciate it. When you log in to your account, you will come to a page that looks like this, and you get the Divi theme, which is this one here, and a bunch of other plugins. But the Divi Builder is one you can add as a plugin to any theme, just like you do with Elementor. So when you click on download here, it'll download it to your hard drive. And then inside of your website, you then go to plugins and add new, click on upload plugin, click on choose file, find the plugin on your hard drive, and then click on open, then click on install, then click on activate plugin. Now we have the Divi Builder plugin installed. I'm also going to update to WordPress 5.0.3 because Divi Builder is compatible with that, and it's the latest version of WordPress, so why not update that? Now with that updated, everything on the site is updated. We're ready to go. We're still running the 2017 theme, but we're going to have a Divi landing page that we're going to use on this website. So if we go to pages and then add new, we'll give this a very thoughtful name like landing page. I'm going to click on save draft. Then I'm going to click on use Divi Builder. When it's loaded, we're presented with three options: build from scratch, choose a pre-made layout, or clone existing page. We're going to choose a pre-made layout. From here, there are a lot of layouts we can choose. Let's filter for community and nonprofit. Let's do this adopt a pet one, this animal shelter. Looks like a nice little landing page. Gives us a preview of it. They have a lot of different options for different pages to import. We're just importing the landing page, but you can use this same layout pack to build an entire website just by importing these two different pages as you're building them, and you're going to have a complete website in a couple hours. Just going to choose this landing page. We're going to tweak it a little bit to meet current landing page best practices. Then we're going to have an awesome functioning landing page. I'm going to click on use this layout. Have to add my Elegant Themes username because we're downloading this from the Elegant Themes website. My API key is, if you go to account and then click on API key, we have our API key here. Just copy that, paste it in here, click on submit, and then it will download that layout and build it for us on the page. Then we can tweak it. The big green check mark means it's done. So here's our landing page loaded into the website. Looks pretty good. Pretty awesome actually. Quite long. With a landing page, what you really want to have is one objective. You want people to do one thing when they come to your landing page, and that is either opt in or get more information or interact with your company in some way or leave. Most landing pages, in fact, don't have a navigation bar. The ones that convert well don't have a navigation bar. So in order to get our best practices nailed down, we're going to follow a blog post I made. On this blog post, which is really rough right now, I'm going to be adding more stuff to it as time goes on and probably before this video is even published. But there's 13 things here that you must have on a landing page, or should have if you can, in order to make it convert as highly as possible. The very first thing is the offer must be clear, meaning when people go to this page, they need to know what the point of the page is. So this page has a big headline saying adopt a pet. People read that and they say, okay, this is about adopting a pet. This is a nonprofit animal shelter. They have pets that they want people to adopt. That's the point of the page. Either you're interested in that or you're not. They give you two options, two big buttons down here. Adopt an animal, make a donation. Those are the two things they want you to do. Those are the two calls to action. If we go back to our best practices, we see the calls to action buttons down here. Number 6, must be easy to understand and preferably contrasting in color. which they are in both cases. Easy to understand, the contrast and color, you can play the colors a little bit, but it's very clear what's going on there. Next, you want to keep it simple and clean, which I think this landing page does. Calls to action, contrast and color, just spoke about that. Important info must be above the fold. So if you have anything important that you need the person to know, those include the headline, which is this right here. Those would include some kind of supporting text, hopefully including a lot of benefits. On this landing page, you'd have the benefits of why to adopt a pet, for example. You want to have your calls to action above the fold. That can be buttons that takes them to a page to check out, or that opens a pop-up to check out, or a form on this page as well. You want all those things above the fold, and the fold is the bottom of the screen, where my cursor is down at the bottom here. Everything above that is above the fold. If you have to scroll down to see something, that is below the fold. So keep all the important stuff above the fold, which we've accomplished with this out of the box landing page. Just need to update this text, obviously, maybe add some bullet points. If you end up adding more text, you can move this whole section up a little bit to have it up higher on the page, make more space for your points, and still keep it above the fold. Use scarcity. This isn't always possible, and you should do it ethically. Scarcity on this page might be something like, we have 3 golden retrievers left for adoption. That would be scarcity because those dogs will be adopted, and then that 3 will become 0, and the people have missed out on getting those golden retrievers. If you have a product that has unlimited inventory and you're saying you're going to run out, that's not really true, and it's not really ethical, so it's not real scarcity, and you can't use scarcity for every situation. But if you can, it's good to put it in. Call to action buttons must be easy to understand. We got that. Add contact information. We don't have that here, but we can easily add that. Just type into here and say contact us at 1-800-123-1234. There. You have a phone number where they can easily reach you, and that is providing proof that you're a real business, because only real businesses would put their phone numbers there. Not all real businesses do, but if you have a phone number there, you're likely a real deal thing. And it provides people just another way to ask questions and clarify any questions they may have, especially when you're adopting a pet. You're likely not going to just click adopt a pet and pick one online and be done with it. You're probably going to call, ask for directions. You might check what pets are available for adoption, but then you're actually going to go and want to meet the pet before you adopt it. So having contact info is very important. Sometimes it's tough to keep this above the fold because if you want to add, for example, a map or something, you wouldn't want to have that on the top of the landing page. You'd rather have a link to a different part of the landing page or to a different page on your website where they can view a full map. And if you have more contact details like emails, phone numbers, fax numbers, and all kinds of things like that, you also want to direct them to a different page to do that. You don't often want to direct away from the landing page, but if they're looking for contact information, then it's okay because they're actively seeking out the ability to contact you. So we want to A/B split test headlines, copy, and form length if you have a form. And you want to do this whenever you can. So for example, using the Divi Builder or the Divi theme, they have an A/B split test module. If you're not using the Divi Builder or the Divi theme, you have to use a different split testing service like Visual Website Optimizer, and Google has this A/B split tester that you can use for free. Its name eludes me right now, but Google does have one that's for free. What you basically want to do is just test 2 different versions of something. You would have adopt a pet as one headline, and maybe your new pet is waiting for you as a second headline. And you would run traffic to both of them and compare them to see which one does better. So you can't just make 2 different versions of the page and kind of eyeball it based on your analytics. You want to have a platform that does the calculations for you, all the statistics. If you don't, you're probably going to draw conclusions that are not accurate. And then you'll be making the wrong decisions for the direction of your landing page. So you want to A/B split test headlines, copy, which is just the text on the page, fancy word for text on the page. Form length if you have the form. For example, some people say having only email as the only form field is sometimes better, or always better, people will say. That's not always true. You want to test your form length. It depends on what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish with your landing page. You want consistent message and branding. This is relative to how you're running traffic. So if you just have a landing page here, you're only on one page. So obviously it's going to be consistent and on branding, I hope, if you're building it, but it's just one page. What that really refers to is if you're buying ads for traffic, Facebook ads or Google ads or some kind of other ads, or buying an email drop, or some way you're generating traffic from somewhere, you want to make sure that the message in the ad you're creating is consistent with the message on the page where people are going. And Facebook and Google, they give you actually relevance score numbers that tell you exactly how relevant they think your landing page is to your message. And they'll actually charge you less for the ads if they're more relevant. And you end up getting more conversions because the people who click on the ad expecting something, that something is actually what they get when they go to your page, if you have the consistent branding and consistent message. Social proof is very important if you have it. Social proof can be as simple as a testimonial. Maybe Frank got a dog here last year. Frank got an awesome dog from us last year. They're both very happy. That is a testimonial. People look for testimonials and reviews before they buy anything these days because it's so easy to do online. So if you have any testimonials at all, make sure you put them in. Another form of social proof that's very common is having a list of logos of places where your company's been featured. Maybe you sell product that's sold in Walmart and Home Depot and other stores, and having those logos on the page somewhere and saying this product can be found in these places. That provides a lot of social proof to people. Like, oh, well, if it's available in Walmart, it must be legitimate, and why not just buy it online? That's a lot easier, a lot more convenient. You want to SEO the landing page. This just means optimizing it for search, so it appears in search engines. It's not common for landing pages to show up in search engines for any major search queries, but you might as well optimize anyway because it doesn't take very long. What you want to do is make sure that your headline, which is this part right here, is an H1. You want to make sure that the page title, which is the name that appears up here, which is in this case is landing page, not the best page title. You want to make sure that those two, at the very least, contain some kind of keyword people are searching for. If you want to know more about keywords and finding them and how to use them, click the link up above to watch the playlist on keywords that I have on this channel. And you just want to make sure your keywords are, again, in the headline, which is the H1 text. You want to make sure it's on the title or in the title. You want to make sure it's throughout the content as well, whatever keywords you're using. And you'll see more about that in the playlist linked up above. You can add an exit pop-up. So when someone's trying to exit the page, which is called exit intent, what happens is the cursor moves away from the browser area. So it goes over this barrier to leave the browser visible area up to the browser menu system. Then a pop-up appears and it says, hey, hang on a second. I have a 10% discount for you. Or maybe some puppy dog eyes like this and the puppy's saying, I really need a home or something like that. That's an exit pop-up that appears. It's the last chance you have really to get their attention before they leave the page. Some people find them very annoying, but they're also very effective if done well. So you kind of have to balance how much you want to annoy people and how many conversions you want to have because they can really boost conversions when they're done properly. An optimized page speed just means you want to make your page load as quickly as possible because if you don't, people will bounce off of it before they ever see your message or ever be able to take the action you want them to on your landing page. And that's why we're using SkySilk VPS because it's a very fast host, and one of the best ways you can improve site speed is faster hosting. Another great way is a faster theme. Those are the two big things that affect site speed. Something else to watch out for is page builders. Page builders can slow down page load speed because they have so many things they're loading and so much stuff they're doing in the background to create these awesome pages. It just takes more time to load. And this page, if we test it, is a good example of that because this is not going to load in 0.6 seconds like the home page did. A, because we have more images, and B, because there is more stuff going on. There's more stuff being loaded into the page as far as scripts and CSS and more HTML. So at GTmetrix, we just enter our page URL. And this page URL is not pretty. We have not done our permalinks. We've not done the domain name yet, but it's there. It's a publicly accessible site. So I'm just going to let this load. 16 jobs ahead of us. So I'm just going to fast forward this video so you don't have to wait. So our load time is 3.4 seconds. Our page speed and why slow indicate there's some work we can do. And here it shows us what can be done. We're not going to go through each of these in this tutorial because that's beyond the scope of it. But I've made a playlist up above that goes through every single one of these GTmetrix page speed analysis items and how to fix every one of them, and the why slow as well, which is a different set of requirements, but equally important. And I go through in that playlist every single one and show you how to fix every single one if you're having issues with them. So click on the card up above for that playlist. But 3.4 seconds is actually still really good. If you look at the average site speed on the internet, this is a quick load time, and this is on the most lightweight server that we can get on SkySilk, with no optimization done on the website. So this is actually very promising that's already going this fast without doing anything to try to make it go faster. So if you've been following along, you now have a website on SkySilk and a landing page on SkySilk that you can use to grow your business. Now, there's two remaining things you have to do really quickly before this site is presentable, and that is change the permalink structure and change this from an IP to an actual domain name. So first, the permalink structure. Let's go back into the dashboard and then go to settings and permalinks. And the best structure for SEO is the post name structure right here, where it's just your domain name, or IP in this case. It will be a domain name, and then the name of the post. And that's the best structure for SEO as long as you have your keywords in the slug. And the slug is this part of the URL right here. I click on Save Changes. And if we go back out to the front end, I just control-clicked to visit the site in a new tab. If I go to the landing page, our URL looks much better already. Just says landing page instead of index.php /... just says landing page. Now to get our domain name in here, what we need is to A, have a domain name, and B, get the IP address from our SkySilk account. So I have a bunch of domain names in here in GoDaddy, some of which are not in use. So I'm going to go to Manage Domain Names. I'm going to find what I'm not using right now. Here's one called Craft in Color. Click on these three dots. Click on Manage DNS. And if you're using a different domain name registrar, they're going to have something similar. You got to find the place called the DNS, some place where you set a DNS. And we need to change the A record of the domain. Let's click on the pencil here. If there is no A record, just click on Add, and then choose A, and then we set the host, points to, and TTL, which we're going to do while we edit up here. So the host is @ the points to is the domain name from your SkySilk account, which is right here. I'm going to copy that, paste it in here. TTL we set to 1 hour, and then we click on Save. And after a little while, up to 48 hours, but usually within an hour at the most, we'll be able to go to craftincolor.com, and that will forward to this IP address, which is going to load on this page. So let's just try it right now, see what happens. It's only been, what, 30 seconds? So probably nothing is going to work. It worked already. Holy cow, that was fast. Click on landing page, and now we have our craftincolor.com /landing page, and we have our domain name assigned to that VPS build right here, which is this website. Every website you have in here is going to have its own IP, and then that is how you direct a domain name to that IP address. One last thing I want to show you, inside your SkySilk account, if we click on rewards, it will show you your SkyPoints balance, which again adds up or accrues every month. You can redeem it for account credit with SkySilk, Amazon gift card, Best Buy gift card, or a Visa prepaid card. And like I said at the very, very beginning of this tutorial, this is the only hosting company I've ever heard of that gives you rewards for using it. And they're actually not bad rewards because they're gift cards and you can do whatever you want with them, especially the Visa prepaid card. You could use this to buy a vacation after you've got a lot of hosting done. It'll take a while to get enough to buy a vacation, but it is possible. So that's a really cool feature of the SkySilk platform, and that's all that I wanted to cover in this tutorial. So that's how it works. I hope this video helps you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below or in the private Facebook group. There's a link to it in the description down below. And make sure you click the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos. And next up is clicking one of these videos that popped up on your screen so you can get even better at WordPress. And until next time, keep crushing it, and I will see you in the next video.